Whiskey Jason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany, tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. And today I have something from Heaven Hill. So this is Liquid Treasures, okay, Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, great, Winter Edition 2021, distilled at Heaven Hill Distillery, distilled in June of 2009, 12 years old, and bottled in November of 2021. And I have bottle number 97 of 131, and this is 53.5% ABV. If you want to take a look at the whiskey base, it's 203594. So, I actually am a member of the newsletter of Liquid Treasures, also called Daily Dram, also called what is it called exactly? E-Spirits mail order. So I know Vincent Loon, he is the owner of the company, just does online retail, and he has done a lot of interesting, very nice single malt scotch. He's done one or two that I've at least tried from Irish whiskey, and this is one of the first ones I've had from him from a bourbon. So now the very, very first thing is the color. That's extremely light for a 12-year-old Heaven Hill. So how should a 12-year-old Heaven Hill look like? Elijah Craig. Elijah Craig, barrel proof. This is the C921, my favorite. So we had the A120, and I think it was the B619. So we only get one batch a year over here in Europe. You in America get 3 batches. Same thing happens with Booker's. What a shame, what a shame, what a shame. All right, now this is my favorite of the 3 batches in the last couple of years. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful juice. Absolutely great. And a whiskey does not have to be hazmat. It doesn't have to be 70+% to be great. With 60.1%, beautiful, beautiful sweet spot. Love it. Enjoy it. I think it's just great. So look at the color here. There's not even enough in here. Wait a second. Excuse me, I was being a little bit here. Stingy. Stingy is the word I'm going to use. All right, good. So you can see a major difference here in the colors. Now, I have a lot of different conspiracy theories that I'm going to put out here about this bottle again. Now, according to the regulations of Kentucky bourbon, the whiskey needs to be aged at least 1 year and a few months in the state of Kentucky. As soon as it reaches a certain age, you can take it away from Kentucky and it can still be called Kentucky. So that means if we take a barrel that's been aged for a year and a half or whatever in Kentucky and take it over to the UK and give it to, for example, Whiskey Broker, and they mature it in their warehouse, after 12 years, it is still Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Now, interesting enough, as soon as Irish whiskey leaves the soil of Ireland, it's no longer aging. Yeah, so you can take a 3-year-old whiskey from Ireland, let's say, bring it to Germany, let it mature for a further 10 years, bottle it in Germany or in Ireland for all I care, and it's a 3-year-old whiskey. So, magically, Irish whiskey does not age outside of Ireland. That's one of those little type of legal requirements we have here. Kentucky whiskey, on the other hand, Kentucky bourbon is something different. It continues to age after it's reached that first maturity in the state. So this 74 euros, this was 86 euros. As I said, I'm actually on the list here. I could have bought this as a wholesaler or from the wholesaler, from the importer here, from eSpirits. I received an email. I looked at it. It was like 86 euros, 12 years, Heaven Hill. Okay, I'll do that tomorrow. I basically came back tomorrow and it was gone. So I had to buy it myself at a different retailer, and I bought in Luxembourg because in Germany it's been sold out. 131 bottles. By the way, 131 bottles is 87 point something liters of alcohol. That's not wow, I got this one wrong again. So I closed my calculator. So let's do this here. 131 times 0.7. My brain's not good today. It's 91.7 liters. In a bourbon barrel is 200 some liters. 200 roundabout. I don't have the feeling that I personally don't think that this bottle had that much of an angel share after 12 years. Could be. And the second thing I don't see on here anywhere is the word cask strength. I don't have anywhere the word barrel proof here. So it says here, bottled for E-Spirits whiskey in Germany, matured in a barrel. Yay. Doesn't even say a virgin charred oak barrel. Nope, just a barrel. Natural color, unchilled filtered, an independent bottle, a bottling product of USA, www liquid minus treasures.com. That's it. Not a single word here about the proof, the alcohol strength. So they could have diluted this down actually to 53.5%. Also, that might explain a little bit more of the light color that we have here. All right, so now let's try this. This is not my first bourbon that has been bottled in Germany, in Europe. And every single time, the aging process in Europe is totally different from the aging process in Kentucky. Kentucky has hot winters, cold summer, hot winters and cold summers. Yeah, hot summers and cold winters. And it really doesn't make a difference. Over in England, or probably up in Scotland to be better set up a whiskey broker, the temperature is fairly constant, yeah? So in the winter, it's in the 40s degrees Celsius. In the summer, it might get up to 70s. If you're on a good day, usually 60s, and so on. And there's not that much variation. And between day and night, also hardly any variation, except for a few weeks during the summertime. Here, we have a variation in temperature almost all year round. So very, very, very different climate, and that makes a big, big difference in the way how bourbon ages. So how whiskey ages. We all know it ages so much faster down in Kentucky. We should know that it ages somewhat slower up in Canada. And it does age much slower over in Ireland as well as our Scottish friends. So I want to try this. Now, I get a little bit of vanilla. I get toasted, almost burnt marshmallows. I'm going to come back to that bonfire moment, that campfire moment. It's almost as someone put in some green twigs into that fire, and you know that smoke you get from green wood? That's what I'm getting at. It's not a wow moment. This, my good friends over there at Scotch Test Dummies, Scott and Bart, they declared this as a bottle wow. And even over in Germany, I've taught the people of Germany, at least the bourbon fans, to call this the bottle wow. And it's very, very wow. Oh, even the nose. There's a depth, there's a complexity, there's a sweetness, there's a brown sugar moment, there's a pecan, there's the leather going on in here. This is so good. Wow. Did I say that enough? Wow. Here, I was taken aback. The 60.1% beautifully integrated. The 53.5%, a little hot. There's some alcohol burn on here. And I got some marshmallows and some green twigs in my campfire, which I don't like. All right. Cheers. Wow. First of all, hot. The 12 years here did much, much more to round off that alcohol. Over here, much lower proof and still a much higher sharpness, a much, much more of a burn on the tongue here. And that green sappiness of that wood comes through again. Age isn't everything. Climate in age does so much. I'm just thinking out loud. I mean, could they have used actually like a 100-liter barrel or a 125-liter barrel? Don't think so. I think they would have put that on the label. Wow. This is not my cup of tea. This is going to get a C minus. This is going to get a D for my value for money. Now, can someone tell me why? I should buy a whiskey. Let's just call it 90 euros. That is lower proof than the Elijah Craig, which costs more than the Elijah Craig, which is much lighter than the Elijah Craig, and also doesn't taste as good as the Elijah Craig. I just don't understand. Now, do you know of any other independently bottled Heaven Hill products where it says Heaven Hill on the label? That's the question of the day. Do you have any products out there that actually label it Heaven Hill? Now, I personally know from also other people, Lexco, for example. Let's talk about Rebel. Let's talk about Blood Oath. Let's talk about all these other brands, Ezra, Brooks, and so on. The 7-year-old was fantastic. That is Heaven Hill juice. All right, still up until basically 2022. They're going to switch over now in the fall to having their own juice basically get on the market finally from their own distilleries. Yay! And of course, don't forget we have MGP bought Lexco, and now we have all that MGP juice if we don't put Kentucky on there. And they just actually put some more money in distillery to increase capacity again at Lexco, or Lexro Distillers. Very good, very good. But what I'm talking about is, do you know of any independent bottlers that write here, Heaven Hill on the label? Looky there. So that would interest me. Do you know of anyone that does that or is allowed to do that, that actually bought the name to put on the bottle? Now, I am not a big fan of this. I have so far almost always been disappointed by any independent bottled bourbons or American whiskeys. There are exceptions. There is SMWS. I really love the Berry Brothers and Rudd here from Arkansas. Their Rocktown Distillery wheated whiskey here. This was beautiful. Well done, guys. But in most cases, and often it has a lot to do with that whiskey broker stock that they have or had or have had, that just the climate in Scotland does not benefit bourbon as the climate does from Kentucky, Tennessee, Texas, and so on. So let's take one little sip of this. So much better. Alcohol supports and it doesn't burn. The sweetness, the brown sugar is there. The fruitiness, the berries are there. A little bit of leather, a little bit of tobacco, a little bit of pecan pie. Good. Wow. C minus, value for money, D. All right, so if you see a bottle of this, buy it as a souvenir or a collector item, but I don't want you to expect too much from this. If you want some good juice, go over and buy yourself an Elijah Craig C921. This is the most recent bottle that we have over here in Europe. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for liking, subscribing, telling others, sharing this video if you like. And once again, any ideas of any independently bottled Heaven Hill products you've seen out there, write it down in the chat. Would love to find out more and to educate myself. Thank you for your help and all the best. Whiskey Jason, bye-bye.